Hey folks, Aaron Israel here with Fundamental Defense. I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about safety while running or jogging. There's been a very high profile incident lately over at Katy jogging trails in Dallas where a lot of people like to go and jog, where there's been several robberies on that trail with people getting mugged, and it's made a lot of press. It's been on Facebook, it's been on Twitter, and I've had a lot of people ask me about personal defense in the context of going and running in public, and so I want to talk to you guys about that today. So the first thing you're going to want to consider when you're going for a run is first planning your route, obviously. Where am I going to go? Now, speaking specifically about the Katy jogging trail and other public jogging trails like it, the reason they're so appealing for runners is that they go off into secluded areas that are wooded and a little bit more isolated than some of the trails that you might go to in the public place, whether it be a high school running track or just around your neighborhood. Obviously, it's a little bit more scenic to run back in the woods. But that's a double-edged sword, because if I'm the criminal, if I put myself in the mind of the bad guy for a second, a real appealing target is going to be to go and hide in those woods and wait for my opportunity to jump out and rob somebody, attack somebody, do my criminal things in that secluded area where there's nobody around. So me personally, I don't recommend going to that sort of a jogging trail. Now, I haven't been to the Katy jogging trail specifically, but I've been told that that's the same kind of makeup that you see with most of these secluded jogging trails, is that there's a very public area in the very front, but then it kind of goes back into the woods. So the most public place that you can be in, where the most people are, you're going to be the safest when it comes to running. The more secluded you are, the more away from where people can see what's going on, is more of a target of opportunity for a would-be criminal. So think about that when you choose where you're going to run. Second thing is, what time of day are you going to run? Obviously, it's going to be safer for you to run when it's light outside, because less things happen in the daylight than they do in the dark of night, as far as from a criminal perspective. So if I can run when it's light outside, that's always going to be safer for me than running when it's dark outside. But obviously, I accept reality. I personally like to run when it's a little bit darker, when it's later in the evening or early in the morning, and I see a lot of people running either at the break of dawn or right after the sun goes down. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, again, objectively less safe than if you were running in the light. So think about the time of day that you run at, and obviously the light's going to be better, but obviously a lot of people are going to run at nighttime. So once you thought about when and where, the next thing you're going to want to do is tell somebody when and where you're going to go running. A lot of people take that step for granted. If I take the simple step of sending a text message, having a face-to-face conversation, or calling somebody on the phone, a significant other, a friend, and saying, hey, I'm going to such and such jogging trail, I'm going to be gone for about an hour. If you don't hear back from me, alert the authorities or come looking for me or something like that, that could be the text message or the conversation that saves your life. Because think outside of the criminal element, right? What if I get snake bit back there? What if a freaking mountain lion attacks me? Something like that. What if I break my leg? What if I twist an ankle and I can't get back to the entrance to the trail? Something like that. If there's nobody around and nobody knows that I went for that jog, then nobody's going to know where to look for me. So just having that conversation with somebody could save your life if a worst case scenario does occur, whether it's a criminal situation or you just injure yourself or get lost or something like that while you're out running. After you figured out where you're going to run, when you're going to run, you've had that conversation and you've told somebody, you want to think about, what should I take with me? Well, obvious first choice is going to be taking your cell phone, right? We take our cell phones with us everywhere. Now, if you've got one of those gigantic, like, wannabe iPads that you're calling a cell phone, you're probably going to have a little bit of trouble running with that. But if you've got a moderately sized personal cell phone that will fit into a pocket or into a fanny pack, or that you can tuck into your waistband or something like that, take that with you. A lot of people are going to use that to listen to music. That's fine too, but take that cell phone with you so you can communicate if you need to get a hold of somebody while you're out there running. Whether you see something suspicious, you get hurt, something like that, you want to have that communication device available to you. And that being said, be in a place where you have cell phone reception. That's another reason why some of these more secluded running spots are not as good of an option, because you don't have any cell phone reception, you can't get a hold of anybody, something goes wrong, you're not going to be able to reach the outside world, so that could be really bad for you. So think about that, have that communication device. The next thing is defensive options, right? What are some things that you can take with you on a run? Well, me being a gun guy, obviously my choice is going to be, if I'm legally allowed to carry there out at this trail or in my neighborhood or wherever, then I'm going to carry my defensive firearm out with me when I go running. And that's very possible to do, and it just depends on what kind of firearm you want to carry. Now, my everyday carry is a Glock 19. Well, Glock 19 is a double stack, and it's a little bit heavy to be carrying when you're going for a jog. It's going to bounce around a lot, and it's going to probably irritate you if you're carrying a gun that's one of those bigger double stack type pistols. So what I recommend for running is a single stack, sleek framed semi-auto, something like a Glock 43, a Glock 42, a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, a Springfield XDS, one of those single stack options that still has that efficient semi-automatic firearm, but is in a little bit more compact and a little bit sleeker, that's not going to dig into you when you run, is not going to irritate you. So that's what I recommend. My personal choice, since I'm partial to the 9mm, I'm a Glock guy, is the Glock 43. That's what I'm holding here. Obviously you can see it's a very sleek pistol. It's very thin, it's very easy to conceal, and it weighs next to nothing, and you're not going to notice it there in your waistband when you go for your jog. So that's going to be a good option for you as one of those single stack firearms. Also, not a bad option either if you've trained with a revolver. Nothing wrong with taking a snub-nosed revolver, a J-frame, something like that with you if you train with a revolver. Now, there's a little bit higher learning curve with revolver, so if you haven't practiced with that revolver, you mostly shoot semi-autos, I'm going to recommend you run with your semi-auto, but a revolver is good for this situation as well because they're nice and sleek and lightweight and easy to carry. Now, other options for you. Well, there's pepper spray, there is mace, and there's options like that, the less than lethal stuff that you can do to carry with you. You could carry a knife. Most people carry a knife with them as part of their everyday carry kit. That's not a bad thing to carry with you when you run. Just think about those small defensive tools that you can carry with you on your person when you're out running. Now, once you decide what you're going to carry with you, you should decide, okay, well, how am I going to carry that thing? Well, a really popular option, depending on your fashion sense, I suppose, and how old you are, and if you think you can pull it off, you think it looks weird, whatever, is a fanny pack, right? There's nothing wrong with a fanny pack. They make good concealed carry fanny packs, and you know, if you're wearing it out in the public space just on your day-to-day, I think it looks a little obvious that, yeah, you probably got a gun in there. But when you're jogging or you're out hiking or something, fanny packs are a little bit more commonplace. They're not going to stick out like a sore thumb. So fanny pack's a good option for you, but make sure it's one of those fanny packs. You don't necessarily have to unzip the pocket. You can just reach in there and access your firearm or your pepper spray or whatever it is that you got in there, and that's going to be a good option for you. Me personally, I'm partial to the ICE belly band from Crossbreed Holsters. I don't like fanny packs that much. Maybe it's just my sense of style. Maybe it's because I just don't like fanny packs. They bounce around too much. My wife's probably laughing and hearing me say sense of style. She knows that's not true. But I just don't like fanny packs, so I like the ICE belly band. The good thing about the ICE belly band is that the holster itself is modular, and so it's got a Velcro piece that goes around your waistband. Even though it's called a belly band, it sits right below your waistband where you would normally put an IWB holster or your belt. And it's got a modular holster piece that actually detaches from the belt, that's got a hook and loop on the back, and so you can move that holster around until you figure out what configuration is going to work best for you jogging. When I'm jogging personally, normally I usually carry in the appendix position off center line, but I find that a little bit uncomfortable when I'm jogging because it just bounces around more. So I carry on my strong side hip when I'm jogging, but this holster gives me the option of doing either one. And also on the belly band itself, you've also got little pockets where you can put your ID, your concealed handgun license. You can stick your cell phone in there if you wanted to, something like that. It's got those options for you to carry that stuff on you as well. You could probably fit like a little money clip or something in there. Whatever it is you need, you can fit onto that ICE belly band. It's not going to give you as much space as you would normally have in a fanny pack, but you can definitely get a spare mag, ID, and that sort of thing onto it. So I think it's a great option for you. Another thing to consider if you're running when it's dark outside, which obviously not ideal. If you can run when it's light outside, like I said before, that's going to be better, but a lot of people run when it's dark. Flashlight, right? So this is a 6PX Tactical from Surefire. That's the flashlight that I run with when it's dark outside, when there's low light conditions, and it's nice, small, handheld, fits right in the palm of my hand. It's got about 320 lumens, which is plenty for your purposes. And if you want to get something with higher lumens, the more lumens the better, in my opinion. Get more if you want more, but I think the 320 with the 6PX Tactical or something similar is going to be a good option for you, but you definitely want to have a flashlight when you're out running in the dark for obvious reasons. You can illuminate those low lit areas, and obviously it gives you the advantage of being able to shine somebody in the face if you got somebody trying to accost you, something like that. So carry that flashlight with you and get the training on how to properly deploy that flashlight if you're going to carry it as well. So those are some things to think about when you go jogging. And jogging is a good thing. Part of personal defense is being in shape, so I encourage you to get out there and run. I'm not going to call myself a runner. I am trying to get back into it. I've gone on a couple jogs now, but it's definitely something to think about, staying in shape when you're thinking about personal defense, because the weapons and the tools is just that. They're just tools. You got to have the full body ability to defend yourself. So get out there and run and think about these safety considerations, and come see us for training, www.fundamentaldefense.com, and we'd love to see you on the range, and hope you guys have a safe and happy Veterans Day and Thanksgiving.